More Heart Than Talent Radio.
Jeffery Combs, president and founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. Welcome to the Tuesday Facebook Live More Heart Than Talent Mindset video. Welcome aboard, everyone. Have a great video for you. Have a great live for you today. Topic of today's call is letting go of rejection and abandonment. It's a very, very good call for today. So as you come on here and say hello to me, welcome to the call this afternoon, or call it, welcome to the live this afternoon. I see Matt Smith, Monica, Emily, Marco, Danielle. Good afternoon, everyone. It's beautiful California, Northern California. That's actually a contradiction. I live in Central California, but it's called Northern California, yet Central California is called Central California. So I live halfway up the state in Stockton, California, 40 miles below Sacramento. If you are a coaching client of mine and you've not attended Breakthroughs to Success, these September and December breakthroughs will sell out, meaning that I limit the size of people that can attend. There's Don Spanitz. Don and I go way, way back, about 15 years ago. So Don, welcome aboard here. But Breakthroughs to Success is an event reserved for maximum 35 people. So if you're a coaching client, you're going to attend the September or December Breakthroughs, I ask you to go ahead and reserve your spot as soon as possible. There's Kathy Shepard. That is a free event. Kathy attended the June Breakthroughs and also attended back in 2007. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to move into the inspirational portion of today's Facebook Live. That is letting go of rejection and abandonment. A few quick announcements. Great event this Saturday in Chicago, Illinois. Bob Tierney, Scott Huminski, Mikhail Jessen, Nick Horner, Alicia Sidoros, some great coaching clients of mine. Gerard Tofola, who is a master coach himself, was at the event. So a lot of long-term clients. 3 of those clients I've coached over 10 years, so that was awesome. This Saturday I'll be in Seattle, Washington for the first time in a few years. Amanda Bobbitt has sold out the event, so I have a little room for about 60 to 80 people. That event is going to be sold out, so that is this Saturday. July 6th, I will be off for the 4th of July weekend. I'll be going down to Greenville, South Carolina, where we'll be filming a TV interview with Bridget Bartley. Bridget Bartley, who's been my client since 2013. Ray Cataline is watching. Ray is my assistant who is down in Maui today. So Ray, thank you for being on today's call. And Ray, Alec Friel, of all people, contacted me yesterday and is going to be flying to Seattle. I mean, that is synchronicity. I've been experimenting with a late night live, and I will be doing that tonight at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Had over 500 views on that last night. So there will be a midnight live Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Pacific. That will be tonight. And then I will be in Baltimore, Maryland on July 20th, Billings, Montana, July 27th. August 3rd, I will be in Long Island, New York. Now for today's Facebook Live, what I have for you is letting go. So letting go is your ability to separate your feelings from the events. This is not a how do I. Letting go is a mechanism, and letting go is an I am state. I am letting go. But there's more to it than the words I am letting go. Those 4 words, letting go is an ability. It's a skill set. So here's an event, and I'm able to separate myself from that event. So I'm no longer connected to the mind-body connection to that. So if I have hay fever, if I have a respiratory issue, if I have a cold, it's not because I'm coming down with something. It's not because of the pollen in the air. It's not because it's hay fever season. It's because I'm emotionally repressing a set of feelings, attracting my reality, people and situations to fulfill a feeling. So as those of you who coach with me, there's Monica, Karen. As you start to understand through my coaching with you, there's Scott Hall. Scott once upon a time coached with me. As you start to understand that what we do is we suppress, which are the feelings that we recreate over and over, and then we repress feelings, these are the ones that we forgot, stuff, don't remember, don't want to recall. Those are the feelings that we bury, and it's those feelings that buried alive that create our relapses. And the more you understand cause, that's the events, and then the effect, that's what you do now, as you begin to separate your feelings from those events, then you're not the mind-body connection. So your body doesn't run your brain. Our brain forgets events. Our body holds on to it. Now, the brain remembers everything that's happened to it, but the limbic brain does not want to remember it. The pain brain, which is the analytical egoic mind, will hold on to events and repress them to fulfill a set of feelings. Now, the ego doesn't mean you're arrogant or eccentric. The ego is the lower self. That's the energy that you transmute below 200 cycles a second. That's anxiety, fear, and doubt. Your higher self is your higher level of consciousness. That comes from your limbic brain. That is from your intuition. That is from your inspiration. That's from your extrasensory perception. That's from your ability to understand, be aware. That's your ability that's the reflexes, that you're able to respond to the stimulus. The addicted brain and the addicted body will create reactions, fight or flight, consciously and unconsciously, to recreate a feeling. Now, as you understand the basics of this neuroscience, as you understand the basics of cause and effect, it gives you inner wisdom and then the technical know-how and the emotional know-how on how to separate your feelings from an event. So you don't give power and meaning to an event that do not serve you. Now, this is not rocket science, and there's my good friend Lisa Faye Pazanza. Lisa's one of my best students I've ever had the opportunity to develop, coach, collaborate with, share space with, do events with. Lisa's a single mom of 3 who did not receive any child support and on her own single-handedly built a 6-figure business. That means that, and Lisa has a lot of recovery history also. Now, Lisa does exactly what I've been teaching her. That means that concurrently, while recovering, she is producing. And this is what I'm attempting to assist many of you with, that here's recovery and here's production. You do both of them simultaneously, not like this. You don't spend your whole day in recovery. You spend your day recovering in a relaxed body, producing results so you can create a livelihood. So you're not on your parents' couch. You're not living with your parents. You're not renting a room from someone. You're not barely getting by. You're not a struggleaholic. You're not a noble struggler. You're not recreating the same situation over and over to fulfill a set of feelings. When you're no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape your feelings, now you are you and you are free. Now, one of the major situations that hinder many people is feelings of being abandoned and rejected. When your body holds on to pain and stores and stuffs it, and you have been rejected, abandoned, traumatized, neglected, sexually abused, any multitude of situations, beaten with a spoon, beaten with a broom, beaten with a switch. How many of you have ever had to go out to the tree, cut the switch off, and then get beaten with it? Now, imagine what that does, just even seeing a tree, what the body does. That tree is painful. That can create an allergy. And the more you understand how the body hangs on to it. In the book, Resetting Your Emotions, there's a story about a young boy who his father wanted him to assist him with his landscaping. The boy wanted to have another career. The boy mowed the yard but messed the yard up. The father was very upset with him, beat the son with a switch they had him cut from a tree. And so now the kid grows up into manhood, and he's allergic to grass, not because of the pollen in the grass, but because of the repressed and stuffed memory that he holds on to. Now, when that is addressed, you no longer will be allergic to grass because the body and the brain separate the feelings from the events, and it doesn't have the same significance. That means you change the meaning. Now, if you've been rejected in the past and you've been neglected in the past, if someone doesn't buy from you in today's world, they're not rejecting you, they're not buying from you. I prospected yesterday, spoke to 3 people, they all gave me the same situation. I'd like to hire you, Mr. Combs, and my situation is I don't have the money. I spoke to 3 people on Sunday, same situation. You don't understand, my situation is unique. I'd love to hire you, but, and so I hear this over and over. So when people give me an objection, they're not rejecting me. When someone gives me an objection, that's not an excuse, that's their reason. And the more I understand why people do what they do, now I can separate my feelings from the event. Now, Monica said the cooking spoon was used to threaten me, so I understand this. And so, Elaine is saying, fascinating how this is all connected. So I'll say this again. The boy is mowing the yard. He misses a spot in the yard, and it leaves a patch. The father loses his composure, has him cut a switch off of a tree, and then beats him. Now, I've coached people through similar situations. So he beats him with the tree. Now he becomes allergic to tree bark, and he becomes allergic to mown grass. So when he's walking his dog in the neighborhood, All of a sudden his eyes begin to water. He feels hay fever symptoms. He goes to the pharmacy. He buys something to address his histamines, and he'll buy an antihistamine to block the situation. When in reality, what he requires to understand is that he was beaten with cut grass. It creates a lasting memory. Now it creates an allergy, so he's allergic to cut grass and he's allergic to tree bark. And then when you muscle test him, or you can understand that this is the cause that creates the effect. So the more you understand how these events have shaped your feelings, now you're in a position to let go. Now, if you're considering hiring me, I will spend diligent time in breaking this down. If you're gonna hire me, you're gonna hire me for a year. Don't even hire me, because that's typically what it requires for me to assist you over a period of time to have a better understanding of cause and effect. Don't hire me to set you up to disappoint you. Hire me to let go. And if you're sensitive and defensive, then that means you're not going to be coachable. And unfortunately, this is how a large percent of society is. And so when someone says to you, I'm not in a position to buy from you, your sensitivity and your defensiveness goes on to automatic alert and goes, I'm being rejected, when in reality, the person isn't making a decision. The person isn't in a position to buy from you because they have commitment phobia, and you have your own set of commitment phobia. Now you have this polar opposite coming together to form a feeling, and that feeling that is formed is rejection and abandonment. So the more you understand the cause that creates the effect of why you do what you do, now you can create the separation so that I'm not the mind-body connection. So if you have hay fever, that doesn't mean that it's the pollen in the air. Oh, my kids have a cold and now I'm coming down with a cold. What you're buying into that. You're expecting it because your kids have, that doesn't have anything to do with the situation. What has everything to do with the situation is your own emotional state, and then your adrenals, how you process information, how you let go of information. You're not automatically going to get sick because someone else is sick around you. That becomes a lot of wives' tales. Even the term Gesundheit, a German term, and if the term bless you, if you ever sneeze and someone goes bless you, well, that's connected to the Black Plague. That's a wives' tale, because if someone was sneezing in the 1500s, that means that they had the death plague and they were going to die. So the metaphor becomes bless you. Gesundheit. I mean, these are the situations that we can pass these traditions down without even really understanding why we do what we do. Now, as you become aware, as you understand, and you move beyond, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. Well, success doesn't make sense. Success is a commitment. And as you begin to have a better understanding of the reflexes required to be and stay successful, then you won't feel rejected. As a sales professional, you're going to have a law of averages. I have 2 internet marketers right now who are doing 2 separate $10,000 campaigns. And both of them have similar strategies. They're both uniquely different. But I mean, I understand the analytics of it. There's a setup cost for the internet marketing process, and then there's the profit that the internet marketer is due to receive, and then there's the ad cost, which is $4,000 or $5,000. Now that $4,000 or $5,000 theoretically should create somewhere around 20 to 50 leads. So let's round it off in 30. So now I close about 1 out of 7 people I speak to who are going to purchase a coaching product from me where the value of the coaching product is $3,000 or $5,000. So what does that mean? It means that about 1 out of 7, so about 1 out of 7 people that I qualified, not talk to. Talking to someone is not a qualified business conversation. A qualified business conversation is you ask people a series of questions about an outcome either they seek to create or an outcome you seek to create. And when you start to understand the analytics of that conversation, now you start to have what is called a system. And when you have a system to sell and a system to close, you begin to enhance the law of averages. Now, as you move into that higher state of consciousness, then you won't be feeling rejected. You don't feel abandoned. You're not resentful when someone doesn't buy, and you can let someone go. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Now, it's going to be your responsibility to understand what that meant. Now, they said they'd get back to you, but that doesn't necessarily mean it means what it means. What you understand is meaning. And when you understand cause, purpose, and meaning, you can tell when someone is committing and someone is not committing. And you want to get beyond someone's lying to you. They're not lying to you. They can't commit. And as you're able to separate your feelings from events, Now you're not personalizing the process. If someone doesn't buy from you, they're not rejecting you. If someone personalizes it and makes it about you, even then, you don't want to turn it into a rejection. That's someone who's angry at themselves and they're taking their anger out on you. And in true humility is so humble that it can't be humiliated. And self-esteem does not recognize rejection or abandonment because self-esteem is its own love. Self-esteem does not feed on external love. Self-esteem doesn't feed on anything because self-esteem is esteem and esteem is love. It doesn't require any feeding. Self-esteem does not require recognition and rewards. Self-esteem is its own reward. It is love. And love doesn't require outside love. Outside love can enhance esteem, but esteem is not dependent upon it. So as you move into a higher level of consciousness, awareness, self-mastery, self-esteem, self-actualization, being self-directed, and that's without feeling selfish, as you're able to move into that situation, now you're not the mind-body connection to the events that shape your feelings. And then also you'll start to understand the power of association. Who you tend to associate with will either have a detriment to your feelings or will either enhance your feelings. It's called the law of five. The five of the sum people you associate with at times can affect your emotional state. This is why you want to start to associate with people of influence and affluence who are moving in a much more spiritual, conscious alignment as you are. So if you're in recovery, I suggest you don't go to a bar to prove to yourself that you can go into that bar and not drink. And if you have to prove something, if you're in prove mode, then you're doing that solely from ego, your lower self. Now, as you're able to move beyond that situation, you move into higher levels of consciousness, then you're not the mind-body connection to the events that shape your feelings. So when I speak to someone from my past and they say something that may be somewhat derogatory, I don't get sensitive and offensive and feel the desire to have to defend myself. And when you're in that state of mind, then you're going to attract to reality conflict. And that means you're going to be a counterforce to someone else's force. Now, as you're able to let go, letting go means that you're not personalizing it. So you're not feeling rejected and abandoned. And if you're one of these people that's watching, and it's about 65% of the population, sensitive and defensive, it's very challenging to be able to receive any kind of insight because your brain turns insight into criticism. So if you hire me to be your coach, I'm not there to show you up. I'm not there to make you mad. I'm not going to get in your face. I'm not going to challenge you, make you wrong, but I will give you insight. I'll point out situations I see. I will give you suggestions. I don't offer suggestive criticism because criticism is criticism, whether it's suggestive or whatever it is, but being critical is not an objective. Being relaxed is. And being able to intuitive is a no state. And as you live and stay in a no state, now you're elevating yourself above anxiety, fear, and doubt. If you feel rejected or abandoned, you've dropped down into a very low level of energy. This is the very reason that most of society can't prospect. They walk up to it, I don't want to be rejected. So they say, I don't want to fail. What it means is I don't want to be rejected. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I make a mistake? What if I offend someone? What are my friends going to think? I neutralize this with my clients all the time. I'm not sure what my friends will think. Well, who are these friends? I ask people this, name one person. They seldom can anyone name this. Well, what it means is that most people don't want to be judged. Sorry, here we have a little technical difficulty and we're going to get right back on track here. But most people do not want to be judged. And the more you understand why people do what they do, then you're not the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings. And as you're able to easily and effortlessly let go, then you're not being rejected and abandoned. And you will seldom, if ever, be rejected in a sales conversation. Now, I sold Yellow Pages for years, and I would walk into people's businesses. Occasionally there would be a sign that said, no soliciting. Well, I typically wouldn't go in there. I mean, they're already asking for no solicitors. So if I walk in there anyway, they're going to go like, WTF are you doing here? Well, I'm not going to enter that kind of controversy because there's a store next door that doesn't have that sign on it. And why create controversy when it isn't necessary? Now, I would walk into stores selling Yellow Pages in the late 80s in my early sobriety, straight commission, and I would say, my name is Jeffery Combs. I represent Southwest Bell Yellow Pages. Would it be possible for me to speak to the owner or the decision creator of the advertising budget? And then if the secretary goes, we're not interested, I would ask one more time, I understand, but would you at least let the owner know that Southwestern Bell is here? And if she says it again, I'm going to thank her and move out of the conversation because I don't have anything to lose. She said she's not interested. She didn't say I don't like you. She's not abandoning or rejecting me. She's blowing me off. And if she's blowing me off, she doesn't know me and it's not personal. So I can move right along to the next one. But if I hold on to that last sales call, now I'm not in the present. Now I'm overwhelmed. Now I'm recreating the same situation to fulfill the same set of feelings. And when I do that or you do that, now you're bringing the last conversation's rejection into this one. Now you're overwhelmed. Now you're recreating the same situation to fulfill the same feeling. And what happens to so many salespeople is they stay sales amateurs. They're not sales professionals. Professionals do not get rejected. Professionals do not get abandoned because it doesn't happen. Here are the 5 main objections that you'll receive in any sales situation. Number 1, you'll receive, I don't have the money. It really means typically, I can't commit, I'm not willing to find it. Number 2, I'll get back to you. Depending on how they say I'll get back to you, it's going to be your situation to determine what that really means. I'll get back to you in a couple of days. I'll get back to you tomorrow. It's a big difference. I'll get back to you with no determination. Don't have the money, I'll get back to you. Let me think about it. Now that person processes, thinks, and analyzes. That's the kind of person that makes their decisions on facts, figures, documentation, and technical know-how. Number 4 is they want to run it by someone else. The spouse, significant other, the plumber, their attorney, their accountant, their wellness professional, their doctor. That's number 4. They're taking it out of your hands, definitely. I've encountered many people that have said to me, I'm sure you can appreciate that I would like to hire you, but I have to. And I will say what I appreciate is a man or a woman who can create a decision. I've also had many women say to me, I have to run it by my husband, and I'll say, can you close him? This is a simple question. It's your responsibility to let go of the outcome that has not happened by being present. And as you learn to address objections, you learn how to drop your tone and drop it down on the back end of the sentence so it doesn't come across with hostility. And then number 5 is I'm not interested. And when someone says I'm not interested, they're not saying no, they're saying I'm not interested. Seldom, if ever, does the word no show up in the English language when it comes to someone not committing. I do not believe the fortune's in the follow-up. I believe the fortune is in the close. The fortune is not only in the close, the fortune is in the culture. When you're able to separate your feelings from the events that shape them, you are not the mind-body connection to the events that shape them. And the more you understand why you do what you do, then you will no longer be the mind-body connection to these events. Now, as I'm walking through my house, because someone is at my door and I have no assistant here, I'm adapting and adjusting to the situation at hand. And as you create the same situation over and over. Now, as I walk back to my office, because someone was at my door a little early, and that's what I do. And that's what you will learn to do. You will learn to be and stay in the present. Once again, Jeffery Combs, president and founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. Now, if you're watching this Facebook Live and you have not taken advantage of a free 20-minute coaching session, this is it, a free 20-minute coaching session. So I see some of you are on here and you've never done that. Hey, there's Kev Gorton. Kevin coached with me a long time ago. Kevin, good to see you. So Kevin is a closer. Nick Horner, great to see you. Nick is a closer. Matt, good to see you. I also have an audio program called The Psychology of Asking. I don't typically sell it. It comes free with my coaching. But if you want to be a closer and no longer a poser, I am very, very skilled at teaching the let go process. I'm also very skilled at assisting people with addictions, but I am a rock star freaking closer. And, documentation beats conversation every time. So closers close because they're finishers. Posers pose because they're starters. I'll say that again. Closers close because they're finishers. Nick Horner, remember this. Closers close because they're finishers. Posers pose because they're starters. And if you want to become a recovering poser, you can contact me for a free 20-minute coaching session. I already see that the inbox is starting to fill up on that. Free 20 minutes. That's a $200 call from me. That one $200 call could change the quality of your life. Jeffery Combs, president and founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. So get the word out. I'm going to be doing a midnight call tonight, a midnight wake-up call, East Coast time, 9 o'clock Pacific. I'll do this for several nights. Now, I'm more than likely going to do this from my Sobriety Consciousness page. If you're not a member of Sobriety Consciousness, go ahead and go over to that page. I'll accept you immediately. Monica, Jennifer Spar, Kathy Shepard, Matt Smith. These are some of the people who are going to be hosting some of the live meetings I'm going to be doing in the future. Go ahead and recommend some people that page. Afzal Khan, good to see you, my brother. So Lisa Faye Pazanza. Lisa's my girl. Lisa's a closer. So if you're a closer, raise your hand, or go ahead and just say right here, I'm a closer. Go ahead and put it right here on the page. I am a closer. And if you're a recovering poser, go ahead and admit it. That's honesty. That's rigorous honesty. Go ahead and state that I'm a poser, now a closer. So Jeffery Combs, president, founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. What a call today. See you in the field. Goodbye.